So, thank you for being willing to be one of my victims for the Connect webcast. I wish I knew. I remember the first time I saw your work and the first time it was in the magazine, which was very, very, very early on, when
Yes.
it's just an
Yeah.
online magazine.
Mm-hmm.
It was well, when we get over to your Padlet, we can all see it, but it was a little black girl looking down, and that was in the magazine. But
Yes.
I guess I finally actually met you on our first cruise. I don't think I probably didn't meet you before then until I asked you to teach on our cruise. And it's funny because you were so real. You were like just a person, and I was just such a fangirl.
Really?
And yeah, and I'm still a fangirl. And you're still just Linda.
Well, I don't know what to say to that.
It's never gone to your head, but it has gone to mine. I don't understand you. I don't understand your talent. I don't understand your eye. I don't understand how you can create these absolutely breathtaking pieces, one after another. Do you never have a failure?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I do. Hmm. I've never destroyed any but one. I did tear one up once because it was just a failure. And I've got up there, I've got quite a few I haven't finished because I'm not, you know. Um, but yeah, I do. I have failures and I just move on.
It's just that consistency is one of the most difficult things. And when you look at a person's body of work, it's so easy to, it's so common to have sort of like fabulous works and almost work. I mean, that's pretty common. And when I look at your body of work, it's nothing like that. It's top tier for every single piece. I don't know how you live with yourself. I mean, I don't know how you walk through a door. How are you not completely, insanely narcissistic? I don't get it, Linda.
Huh. Maybe I could analyze myself if I had more time, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I just love what I do and do it.
but you don't have any art training, right?
Well, yes and no. I mm, I've from a child, of course, everybody says that. Um, kind of started as a child, but coloring and whatnot. And then when I was 13 or 14, my parents divorced and we moved back to Texarkana from Fort Worth. And I had private oil painting lessons from a lady for a summer or two. I don't know how long. She started me in watercolor, then started me in oil, and then I didn't do much. Had some art in high school, and then I really wanted to do art. That's all I ever really wanted to do. And then I got married and had 7 kids, and well, my 7 kids were the priority. And so in 1984, my next door neighbor, who I did not know until she passed away, had never done art in her life, but she invited me to go to Texarkana with her to take an oil painting class. So we went. 1985, a community college opened up about 20 miles from here, and I went there and stayed out there for 8 years, taking every art course I could take, and some more than once. And the teacher kept giving me scholarships. So I wound up, I actually graduated with an associate's degree, but um, I, she continued to give me scholarships. So I kept going back, taking classes. And
How many hours would you say you put in the studio in a week?
I try to be in here every day for a minimum of 5 hours, but I don't always get to do that. Sometimes it's 3 days a week, and sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5. But this is what I do. Now you got to understand. I live in a town of 1,000 people. Okay. I've lived here 42 years. And I was discussing with one of my neighbors the other day, they just moved here from Fort Worth. Hi, Blanca, she's signed up here. And we were talking and I said, I don't know anybody in Omaha. You know, I've lived here 42 years and I said, she was talking about the judge lived down the road. I said, really? And they've lived there longer than we have. And I said, really? I said, judge lives down the road. Really? I didn't know that. And so, I mean, my husband's worked around here forever. He knows all kinds of people, but I still don't know anybody. I know one lady for sure, Andra.
Really honestly mean you know nobody.
I know nobody because I live here. First, I raised 7 kids. You don't have much of a life when you raise 7 kids. And they're all the same age nearly. But and then you know, I started doing this and this is all I do. And then for 18 years, I drove to Plano to teach. So everybody I knew was in Plano.
I feel the same way because I lived in Federal Way, Washington for 36 years, but I was in an office madly trying to make a living and I never met anybody. And it's the same in my town now.
I know it's quite unusual. Oh, you know, I'm ashamed of myself. I do know some people. I teach a class. I teach a class in Mount Pleasant, and I do know my students. So I guess I do know about 8 people, but they don't live in Omaha. So, Lord, isn't that awful?
Yeah, it is. It is.
But I live in here. I do. So
I know. I understand. I'm going to share the screen. So, oh. No, that's going to take me one more second. We're going to share the screen so that, whoops. Okay, what am I trying to do here? Oh, technology. Okay, and now we will share. There we go. Okay, so I trust, Linda, that you are seeing your Padlet with your work. Okay.
And of course, I said everything right here.
Yes, you did. You certainly did.
I can't do anything halfway, Anne.
I did think of that. I thought, well, this is probably why Linda's work is incredible because you don't do anything halfway. But I love that you started with the older stuff, you know, with the newer stuff at the bottom.
Yeah, because I care about people and I care about people not being confident in what they do and they think their work's not good enough. And I like to show where I started, kind of not so good, I think myself.
Well, I mean, you know, there was nothing wrong with this first.
No,
but
it's just I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
The next one, which was just a few short months later, is the astonishing thing, right? I mean, and this one down here.
Yeah, that was
the one that was first, and that's when I first saw you, knew you, and you know all that. But listen, before we oh wait, let me look. Yeah, before we this was as a class exercise. So you had and then you just a little while later, you know,
3.5 months.
What you
3.5 months.
3.5 months. So here's what I love. I'm bringing this up particularly because you say something here that I feel is so important. And what I've tried to tell some of my students, which is while you're drawing, pay attention to what you don't like, but pay more attention to what you do like in your drawing, right? And then just keep expounding on that. Exactly. And you get your own style. It's automatic. Right. I don't think I've seen it said so succinctly as you said it here. I love that. Anyway.
Yeah, it was kind of astonishing to go from basic coloring to something like that in 3.5 months. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it blows you. You know, you can see that this was meant to be you and color pencil. Although you and oil were also meant to be, so you're just so talented. A gorgeous piece. So this is the first one you said that you felt like you had to quit wasting time. Like this is what you're supposed to do. So let's do it already.
Right. Right. Because we went to Italy in 2000, I was 53 and I still wasn't doing anything. I had a dream, had a real big dream, and I still wasn't doing anything. So I realized when we went to Italy, because when I was in Italy, I was taking all these pictures for my dream, but I didn't know how to do my dream. So I realized I had to do something now, right now.
Wow. And this gorgeous piece came out of that.
Yeah, it was several years later that I did this,
Oh.
but yeah.
Wow. Okay. I love this, by the way. I mean, I really, really, I have actually done, my sister went to Italy and she asked me to do one of hers, and it was kind of the same thing, stairs and cobblestones and windows, and not nearly as nice as yours, Linda, not half as nice as yours. It's just beautiful. So then you decided from that point on that you were going to work from your own photo.
Well, the one of Italy was my own photo too, but this was when I realized I have got to work from my own photos. I cannot work from other people's photos to learn. I like the Native American. See, that's another photo. That was the cover of a magazine. I think it was called, I don't know what it was called, but anyway, that was not my photo, of course. And I realized I can't continue to do that. I have to work for my own stuff. So,
well, can I just ask you? I mean, you're right, but what made you realize that? Just because you couldn't publish this, wherever you wanted to, the Native American, or what made you decide that?
I'm not really quite sure. I had no direction. I had no mentors. I had no guides. I had no one to tell me what to do. But I guess I had, because of the 8 years I spent at community college, maybe something in that made me realize if I was going to enter competitions, which I didn't know about entering competitions, that you have to have your own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, I'm going to ask you about baby steps. So you have baby steps 1, 2, 3 through 6A. Does that mean something?
yes, it's progression. I went from this step to that step, and learning along the way. What I guess I want people to understand is I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and it just the little steps were quite important, in something that I learned through each one. This one changed everything about how I work with colored pencil. This one happened because of an accident. And this one, I taught workshops all over the country for 8 years because of that accident.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Yeah, I had wax bloom in her hair. You probably can't see my mouse, but I had wax bloom in her hair and I didn't know what to do about it. So I asked someone and they said, well, get a soft brush or a tissue and go over it. And I must have missed the part about the soft brush. So I picked up an old oil painting brush and started brushing and accidentally brushed across her shirt. And I went, oh, what did that do? And I said, I think I'll do that on all of it. So there you have it. And from that time on, I blend with a brush.
I think I've tried it, Linda, and maybe I brushed too hard. Can you brush
It's
too hard?
probably the wrong brush. It takes a very special kind of brush. Not any brush will work.
Okay.
And the paper has to be about 80% saturated with colored pencil before it will work. Otherwise, you have nothing to move around.
Okay. Well, that all makes sense. I've never forgotten that I failed your class on the cruise. So Linda was teaching on our workshop cruise, and I thought, ooh, I want to do this. And she works with this crazy paper, Fisher, right?
No,
you are.
I do work on sandpaper, but probably for that, it wasn't sandpaper. It was Hanson Metientes that I was working on in the workshop.
No. It had the grain.
They all have the grain.
Well, anyway,
that's how I learned to work on sandpaper, because
you were supposed to go with it, or
across it,
and I kept going across whatever, and you came
because you do things in a linear fashion, and you can't do it on that paper.
So you
No, it
came
was the
over right before lunch, put your arm around me, you looked at the drawing and you're like, I don't think this is your thing.
well, you know, the paper you work on, I can't stand it. So
Yeah, I love my story that I failed Linda's class.
we are what we are, aren't we?
Yeah,
It's not that I love that paper. I just can get good results on it.
yeah, yeah. So this is something really different.
You know, if I had not done that piece, I never could have done the plastic bag pieces. It's
Mhm.
ice. And I spent 200 hours on this piece. I've never spent that much time on anything. And but I didn't know anything about lifting color pencil. I didn't know anything about anything when I was doing this. And I learned just all the little shapes and whatnot. I started on the wrong side of the paper and was, you know, quite a few hours into it before I realized I was on the wrong side of the paper. And then I flipped it and started working on it. Yeah, it took me forever to do that, but I could not have done the plastic bags if I had not done that.
Wow, and that was such an amazing series. Tell me what you learned. That was baby step 4. What did you learn here?
I don't know. What did I say? Oh,
Yeah.
darks first. Yes. Do the darks first because the pigment floats across the paper and it contaminates. And at the time I was doing this on her cheek, I had put the white on her cheek and it messed it up. It because that black pigment or any dark pigment floats and it contaminates that and you can't clean it up. So you do that last. You clean your paper and you do that last.
That's right. I agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful black there. Baby step 5. Oh, isn't she sweet?
That happened to be an animal and I don't do animals. I think, how many animals have I ever done? I've done one oil painting of a cat. Oh, wait a minute. I've done 3 cats. But that's quite possibly the only, is that the only animal I've ever done in color pencil? Maybe.
Oh,
Portraits are more my
wow.
interest.
Right.
So,
And then you said something about the grass. The grass was new.
yeah, yeah. And the little toes. But yeah, I thought the cats turned out pretty good.
Yeah,
Or the 2-headed cat. It looks kind of like it.
and then we have baby 6A and 6B.
French gray.
Yeah, now what made you decide, hey, I'm not going to use color in this?
I was teaching in Plano and I have a palette guide of all the Prismacolors organized according to value and color family. And I was flipping through my palette guide and I happened to look at the French grays and boy, those are really pretty.
Yeah.
I need to do something with those. So I searched out this photo of my great aunt. And this, oh, I can't point, but the picture in the upper is the original photo.
Right.
And then I made a black and white copy of it.
Okay.
And did that on Is Cancer Me Tinties, and it is on the color sand, not sandpaper, but the color
Right.
sand. And it just turned out so beautifully. And I learned not to use the 50%, the 20%, and the 30%. You only use the 90, 70 black and white and the 10% because it
Really?
looks real pasty on that paper. The 50% is about the same value as the paper, but it just looks bad on it. So I never use the 50, the 20, 50, 30, or 20. But I use black, white, 70.
10, 70, 90, and black and white.
Uh-huh.
Wow, interesting.
And let the paper do the rest.
Love.
See, the paper's the mid-tone value.
Yeah, and this was like the 10, I guess. Did you say?
It's, white.
Oh, yeah, white, right.
White and maybe some 10%. Yeah.
Right.
And a little tiny bit of color in her eyes and the little grapes on her right there on the well, not that, on the shirt, on the blouse. There's some little grapes.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Tiny bit of color right there and in her eyes. And I did another picture of my mother with the French grays and did the very same thing, just a little bit, just a whisper of color.
Yeah. And you don't get bored doing that?
Why would I get bored?
Well, because I'm always like, oh, I'm so excited when I get to do a new color. Oh, I get to use yellow.
Well, in doing the plastic bags, I have to do all the background first, and that can take days and days and days. I use as many as 30 blacks on one piece. Yeah. And so yeah, that gets kind of boring, and it's like, yippee, I get to use color.
Right? I love this piece so much. This is your mom.
That's my mother. Yeah.
Yeah,
She was
love it.
16.
Just love that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, I mean, so do you still do graphite work?
Sure. Occasionally I will go back and do something in graphite just to make sure I still understand value. I had a teacher when I was at the college. Her name was Ollie Tyson. And Ollie would, she'd do this with her fingers. She'd do this, and then she'd curl her lips. And she'd go, and don't use that tiny brush. Well, Linda likes tiny brushes. But Ollie, one day, she said to me, Linda, go darker. That's all it took. Because
Wow.
as much as I've taught, I have found out that people are really afraid to go dark.
Mm.
And you got to have some places that are dark.
Dark. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The light's not going to show if those places aren't dark around it.
Yes, that's right. It's the light is so dependent on the dark. I mean,
Right.
You can't get light without dark. All right, we've talked a fair amount about these bags, so let's go. And this was the first one.
That's the first one I did, and I really didn't get a good photo because I had film camera at the time. But yeah, that's the first one I did, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. I threatened myself I'm going to start this over at least 4 times, but I just pushed on through, and then I entered it in CPSA. And of course, it didn't win an award, but there's awards and there's awards because the gallery owner loved it. And he kept going back and looking at it. And he followed me around at the convention. It was really weird. And so he brought a friend of his who worked on the newspaper to his gallery, and he just showed him 5 pieces. He didn't tell him which one. He just said, these 5 pieces I really like. Well, when he wrote the article about my piece. And I said, well, there's awards and then there's awards.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But after this, I thought, a series. I need to
Yeah,
do a series
I'm
of
onto
people.
something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can I ask, like, so for me, if I were going to do a piece that was so complicated like this, I would use my value viewer to isolate sections. Do you have any trick like that to sort of isolate? No trick at all.
No. No, I just get in there and go to work. It's I do kind of have a unique way of seeing, and I try to teach my students. I can actually see through. I see through colors, to where what the background color is, and I do see through those colors to where I put that color on first and then the next color on. And it's kind of hard to teach people that, but I do.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, I'll look at it, it's a brown, but it's not a brown. It starts as a green, that sort of thing.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wow. I've never heard anybody else talk about it.
And this happened because I bought the pears, laid them on my bar, and the light was coming through my kitchen window and streaming across the bar. And I looked at that and I went, oh my gosh. I ran and got my camera and I started taking pictures of it. And yeah, because during the winter, the light comes through the kitchen really well. And so yeah, it astonished me.
Like, how lucky that you bought pears that day.
Yeah, really.
What if you'd bought bananas instead?
I've got photos of bananas in plastic bags.
Well, yeah, you don't put it. That's what I mean. You bought the right fruit.
Yeah.
You guys must eat a lot of pears.
No.
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah, that's another one. And I don't even know what to say about it. Yeah. Just the dark background's very tedious and very important to do first.
Yeah, and so how many do you just do black? I'm kind of doubting it, but is it just a layer of black or?
Sometimes if I get it black, and then if I don't want it to read as black, I'll put another color over it, because color pencils are translucent,
Right.
not transparent, but translucent. So you can actually change the color to a dark red or dark green, something like that. This piece, the story behind this is so amazing. You know, of course, I have 7 children, and there are 7 cherries in here. And but that's not it. When my first thing I ever entered in a competition was the International Arts Magazine. And I wanted the International Arts Magazine Grand Prize Award. I wanted it. Oh boy, did I want it. Well, so I entered a piece. Of course, it didn't win the award, but I got a letter from them saying they were going to do a book. And would I contribute 101, I think it's 101 Ways to Do People and Figures was the name of the book. And then another year passed and another year passed, and I entered this one. And lo and behold, it won the International Arts Magazine's Grand Prize Award. And when there is a piece, the 2 cherries on the right, you see the 2 cherries on the right? Yes, those. Right above it on the plastic bag. Yes, all that part right there where the curve, all that was the ugliest thing I had ever seen to me. I'd put it on the floor and I'd look at it and go, that is so horrible. So I went ahead and pushed through on the plastic bag, and before it was over with, that was my favorite part.
Oh my God.
But
Linda, where are the other 2 cherries?
right, hidden. They're hidden.
Are they in the bag? Are they over here?
They're right there. Yeah, you see the stem.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the other 2 cherries.
Okay.
They're hidden. Of course, that makes you wonder because it's called the Magnificent 7. So you have to look and go, where are the 7 cherries?
And now, do you come up? Your titles are absolutely so. Well, oh wait, before we get to that, now your name. How do you sign your name?
Linda Lucas Hardy. No, L. Lucas Hardy. Now I took the Linda off, but L. Lucas Hardy or Linda Lucas Hardy is on that one. Yeah.
But I mean, is it scratched out or is
No,
it?
I think I probably wrote that with a white pencil.
Oh, okay, okay.
It is on sandpaper. So
Okay, I see. You can do light over dark. So how do you just all by yourself come up with these amazing titles?
I do.
Do you
I
think
don't
about it while
always,
you're
I
drawing?
don't always get really great titles, but sometimes I do. I write them down. I've got over 400 possible titles. Every time I hear something, a little phrase or something in a movie I'm watching or something on TV, and oh, that'd make a great title, I write it down. See, so
Wow.
it may never fit anything, but every time I have a picture I don't have a title for, I go through that list, and I've got at least 400 possible titles.
I've never heard anybody say anything remotely like that.
And then sometimes they just pop in my head. I knew that was going to be the Magnificent 7 before I even finished it.
Yeah, I love your titles. Now you say here you learned a good lesson. If you use an acrylic spray to seal your piece and it runs, don't fix the run with your finger. But are we supposed to be able to see something here that is a goof?
Well, actually, probably not. In the original piece, you might see it. It was in the upper left-hand corner on the door frame there, and it ran, and I just kind of wiped it with my finger. I went, "Oops, that didn't work." So
why? What does it do?
It just looks funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is beautiful. Love this.
This was a door in Omaha. It was across the street from what used to be the water department. And it was just this old door with this beautiful curtain hanging there. And I went and took pictures many years ago. Then they painted it purple, and now I don't think it's there anymore. But
it's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
See, oh my gosh, it's just, I mean, look at this. It's just amazing stuff. It's so beautiful. Anything to, oh, best of show.
Mm-hmm.
CPSA.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And that was explored this?
Uh-huh.
Why? I
Why,
mean, what was, what, is there something here that was not?
graphite and colored pencil.
Okay. The graphite, you can't use graphite in the CPSA convention?
No, but you can in SIPI.
In the
This was, this should have been the SIPI award, not the SIPI, I'm sorry, the XP award.
Yeah, that's what it says.
XP, yeah, XP.
I didn't know graphite was, I thought graphite was allowed.
Yeah, for
Oh,
the for Explore This.
yeah, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the main one, the
Oh yeah,
CPS.
the main one. No, it's
I
not.
didn't know that.
Wait a minute, maybe it is for underneath. If you read the prospectus, I think it can be underneath.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, otherwise, well, anyway. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece. This, with my Japanese background, just
You can see a doll.
Yeah. Where did you find this little girl? How did you get this picture?
Well, the Mount Pleasant, Texas has a has a fair every year in September. And what they do is they ask the art society to sit with the fair to tell people, don't touch the artwork. So I was sitting there at a table and I'd take my camera with me, and this little girl walked up, and I had my camera on the table and I had my finger on it. I'm going click, click, click. She just stood there. I'm like, okay. I never entered it anywhere because I didn't have permission, but from her parents, but I had to do that piece. Isn't that sweet?
It's just, I mean,
just a little doll, that little finger up there.
I was going to ask you about your photos, since you do take your own, and you do a lot of portraits, and it's not always easy to get people to look comfortable and natural. I mean, that's kind of the hardest part. You can take plenty of pictures of folks, but like this, I mean, you did tell me when we met last week that this had not won an award, which just blows my mind.
Yeah,
like,
mine too.
This was this is going to win every award whatever show you put it in, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she never did. And I think it's a stunning piece.
I agree with you. Now, where did you find her?
Walmart. I saw her on occasion in Walmart and thought she would make a good portrait. And it took me several years, I guess, before I walked up to her and asked her. She was very gracious and invited me to her home, let me come take photos of her. And they sat on my computer for 4 years before I ever did a picture. And when I finally did this one, I sent it to her in a text, and she was in church. And she emailed me back. I mean, she texted me back. She says, "Who is this?" And I said, "You remember the day the lady came over and took pictures of you?" She goes, "Oh yeah, I've slept since then." She had completely forgotten. Well, 4 years, I guess so.
Right.
And, I took her a copy of the book, your book that it was published in, and signed it for her and gave it to her. And yeah.
And you did her twice and still no reward on this one either?
No, and it depends on what I entered it in. I'm not quite sure if I even entered this in anything. I sold it, so I don't. Anyway.
Now, where did do you have gallery representation?
Mm-hmm. Southwest Gallery in Dallas and Main View Gallery in Scottsdale.
Are they constantly on your back for more work, or?
No, Southwest Gallery is so big, and Bob is taking in work all the time from different artists and whatnot. No, they never have harassed me for it. I know Scottsdale wants more work. Some of these behind me that you see are probably going to Scottsdale. No, they're not probably, they are.
Yeah, well, you work so much anyway. I mean, how many pieces do you do in a year, all told?
You know what, I'd say 12.
Wow, about
one. You may not, but see, I'm as slow with oil as I am with colored pencil.
Oh.
And I don't care. I don't care how long it takes. And I don't understand the hurry. I don't understand why people want to hurry, hurry, hurry. Why? Why do you have to do a painting in 5 minutes? Why? Why can't you take, 5 weeks if you want to? I don't get it.
I think that you can. And I actually think don't you think that? Yeah, I mean, it feels to me like the people who do color pencil really just plainly like hobby for fun, They might also like to bake, and they might also like to sew, and they have this much time that they're willing to give each,
Well,
hobby.
a lot of people don't have a place to work either. I do.
Oh yeah.
We converted our master bedroom into my studio, and then it started, going off into the other bedroom.
So you're in
My
the
art
studio.
stuff's everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's the master bedroom. Yeah.
Oh, you got the master.
Yeah. Why not? You just sleep in the other rooms. What's the point?
Well, you have a
Get a
good
bigger
bed there.
room. And you know what, Anne? It's shrinking. I have found that this room is shrinking. I got so much stuff in it, it's shrinking.
I don't doubt it. I want to make sure we have time to talk about the negative, because not the negative space, because I'm not entirely sure I understood what you meant here.
Isn't that cool though? They look so
It's
good.
absolutely gorgeous, but I don't know what you meant. You said, I wanted to remove a flower from the background.
Oh, lower right-hand corner. I
Here?
had a flower there that I did not like.
Oh.
And it looked really bad. So I did everything but stand on my head to get it off of there, and finally got it to where I got it covered pretty good where you couldn't see it.
Where it's green. Okay.
But it was difficult. Yeah.
So you just randomly made these shapes to cut out the back, to make the back to
No. Let me explain to you. Linda is not real literate with programs to photo editing programs.
Okay.
I'm not real literate there.
Okay.
And I use an obsolete program called Picasa. You may still be able to download it, but they don't. It was Google, and they did away with it a long time ago. But I still use it. And what I did was I took the photo, and I made it. They have a place where you can make a line drawing of it. So I let it make the line drawing, and then I used the slider to bring back color into it. Well, what it does, if not every photo will do it, but if it's something real dark, it messes with it. And so I'm going, oh, that's really neat.
I like it.
I think I'll play with that.
This is also just so beautiful. The stems. Oh, Linda. It's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful. So you did the same thing here. You used
I did the same. Oh, and I had so much fun doing that. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun doing that. And I did something on this one I don't ordinarily do either. All the green around the stems, lower left-hand side, I went over everything with a black pencil, put the green on first, and then went over it, and I left all the texture from the sandpaper. I didn't blend anything. Some of it I blended, like the leaves and stuff I blended with the brush, but a lot of it I didn't. I left it rough. And it was just so much fun doing that. And the computer did that. I mean, the program did that.
Right. So I remember you very distinctly sending me this, and I thought, ooh, she's going to go on a whole new tangent. And
oh, I'd love to.
I know. So what I'm wondering, I mean, yeah, because you say it's so much fun. So I'm wondering was, did it not, meet with as much favor out there in the?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me whether it does or not.
Oh.
No, it does. If I want to do it, I'm just going to do it, and heck with it. It's that one sold, of course.
That is the most beautiful piece, and the title. Love the title.
I have a little booklet. Hold on a second. Not trying to take up too much of your time, but how do I get this on here? There we go. It's backwards. This little thing from Canson that has all their different colors that they offer. So I ran across a blue that I really wanted to do this in, and they didn't make it anymore. So my next door neighbor just happened to have that color.
No way.
Yeah. So I got it and did
Wow.
this. Yeah.
Somebody asked, do you use a hog bristle brush? Hog bristle.
It probably originally what I used was a cheap craft brush made by Low Cornell. And of course, you know, they did away with it. They quit making it. And so yes, but the brush has to be stiff at the ferrule. If that makes sense. You cannot use a brush that the bristles just lay down. If they lay down, they don't move any pigment. It has to be stiff right at the ferrule. So I'm always playing with brushes, trying to find a brush. But sometimes I use a watercolor scrubber. They're nylon or plastic or something, and they can damage the paper, but the brush cannot be any larger than, say, a 1/2 inch, because it's too big to move the pigment around. You're smearing pigments all you're doing. So you can't, you know, it's not like paint on a brush. If the pigment's not on the paper, there's nothing to smear around.
Yeah.
So it has to be 80 to 90% saturated.
So, oh shoot, I was going to ask you something about that. But we need to move on because we still have so much to look at. Oh no, I know what I was going to say. Listen, if you, I just don't know if when you get when you get the invitation, when you observe, you who've come to listen, I don't know if you get the Padlet address or not. So I just want you to make, since Linda has written so much and we're not going to be able to talk about all of them, I just want you to make sure that you get this this URL. It's the padlet.com/Ann759/connect with Linda Hardy. If you want to write that down so you can come visit the Padlet, we'll keep this up for a long, long time. If that's okay with you, Linda.
Sure.
Now,
yeah,
drafting
stuff. I want people to read it.
Right? Yeah, me too. So I guess I don't remember that these were on drafting film.
Yeah.
And you love that?
Oh my God. Oh, just be still my heart. Drafting film. And I work on sandpaper and drafting film. Go figure.
I know.
But yeah, drafting film is just incredible.
I don't know how you get it so smooth.
Well, you don't blend it with a brush because that doesn't work. It's a whole different process working on drafting film than working on paper or sandpaper. A whole different process.
Do you go quite light?
You start out light, and
Yeah.
the incredible thing is you can put a lot of pigment on it, but of course, now I'm just using Prismacolor. I'm not using other brands, but you're building wax upon wax upon wax upon wax. And by the time you get all this built up, if you're not careful with another pencil, you can just pull that right off, and it's almost impossible to fix because you have to do those layers.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some things I did on this that I wished I hadn't done, but I wasn't going to try to remove it. Too difficult.
Yeah, don't tell us because we love it.
Oh, thank you. I just got some shadows darker than I wanted them. That's all.
Oh, no, I love the shadows. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had a fortune cookie in the plastic bag with the Chinese writing on it even. I mean, you've got some great fortune cookies. You're fortunate.
This was one of a kind. Actually, I've never seen another one like this. And the first one I did was on sandpaper. I think it was 2007 that I won the SIPI award on it. And I only got a few photos of it actually, and never seen another one good like this one. But
yeah, that's a great fortune cookie, and
yeah,
it's just perfect. Then we have, oh my God, would you look at this? Now we get into oil. Is this oil or acrylic?
that's oil.
Linda,
I
I
know.
mean, this just leaves you weak in the knees.
And
Oh,
I've lost my ever loving mind, right? I painted every
so
stupid rock.
amazing. This is Cabo. You might have even taken
Yes,
this.
I did. I
I,
did
you
on the
took-
cruise. Yes, absolutely. Sure did. And the pelican, I added the pelican just to add a little something extra to it. Do you see the pelican?
No.
Right on the head of the rocks.
Oh, there it is, right
Yeah,
here.
there's a pelican there. Yeah.
Wow.
I added that just for interest. Yes, that was taken on the cruise. One of the cruises.
Now, did you did this sell in the gallery or
So yes,
oh, it was a purchase
a
award?
show, it was a purchase award.
Oh, Linda. I mean, you must just be so proud. Is this now you don't do acrylic at all, so these are all
No,
oil,
I don't do
right?
acrylic.
Okay.
Oh my Lord, and this one. I thought I was gonna lose my mind on this one too. Doing all
Wow.
those tiny little, what do you call them? The wood. Oh my gosh.
You mean like
I like difficult, apparently. The more difficult it is, the more I like to do it.
You had to do all
But
the
this,
horizontal lines.
this is an old store about 7 miles from my house. It's halfway between Omaha and Mount Pleasant. And it was just an old store that was there and they had it up for sale. And I stopped one morning on my way to Plano and took photos. And a realtor bought this. So, yeah.
How
They
did
try
you
and make
do? How did
what?
you do all those lines so perfectly? Did you like use a
Well,
ruler or a
sometimes I use a ruler and sometimes I'll put them in and then go back with Gamsol and remove some of the paint. It's adding and removing.
oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
Yeah,
that does look just horrifically difficult to do.
it
What
was.
is your favorite oil? Oh wait, before you say that, I love this one so much. Oh my God, that blue, those blues and that yellow. I love it. I love what you wrote about it. So
Do you?
yeah,
Yeah.
this,
Well, and that's the truth. That
yeah.
is the honest truth. And I went through every blue I had, unlike a lot of oil painters, and I say a lot of oil painters, I don't know, but they'll have their 12 colors and that's all they use, or they use the primary colors and mix all the other colors, etc. I don't. I use oil paint like I do colored pencil, and I go through every color I have to find just the right color. And believe me, I have a lot of colors. 150 Prismacolors. Well, I hate to tell you how many paints I've got. But anyway, this one was very significant because I wanted a weed in a pot. I wanted a flower that did not belong there, because that is the way I felt. I felt like, what am I doing here? Who am I to be doing this and have all this, I guess, attention, but by golly, I'm going to plant myself there. And I did. Weed or not, doesn't belong. By golly, I'm going to be there. So that's exactly what I did. Put a weed in there. And these just grow crazy wild all around Texas.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah.
Are they, isn't it a black-eyed Susan?
No, I don't think so. These grow real tall, about 4, 5, 6 feet tall.
Okay.
But there's a lot of those kind of flowers around.
And what's the title? A Place to Call Home. Oh, yeah, that's a great. Okay, now, do you have a favorite oil?
Right now, I just added this today. In my opinion, the cactus blossoms on the far right, that one right there.
Oh my God.
That one. I just found out 2 days ago that it is one of the 100 runners up in Southwest Arts Artistic Excellence Competition. That's not actually what I wanted, but yeah, that one.
Wow.
I thought, and let me explain something. The blossom, the big orange blossom, the big orange when they're on the right. Yeah, that one. I wanted that more of an apricot color. It did not come out the color I wanted it. And I think it's important to point that out, because even though it didn't, meet my expectation. I love the piece. I think it turned out fantastic. So I just ignored the fact that it didn't wasn't the color I wanted it, but it still turned out really good. So, and it sold and it went somewhere. I asked the David in Scottsdale, Mainview Gallery, where it went. And he told me, I can't remember now, but it was a very wealthy neighborhood. I think, well, cool. Okay. So yeah, that I wouldn't necessarily say that's my favorite piece now, but yeah, I love it.
You
And
wouldn't
you know
say
what?
that's your favorite piece now?
Well, I've painted a few since then.
Uh,
I've painted
uh,
a few more
uh,
since, but
so you're like that? You're like your most recent is your most favorite, kind of?
not necessarily, but a lot of them are experiments, like the yellow tulips. The
Yeah.
tulips there, that's just an experiment to see if I could, that's a real dark blue, that's indigo blue, to see
Oh.
if I could pull indigo blue into that yellow and actually make it work and make it soft. Indigo blue and yellow,
Right.
yeah.
Oil, right?
And I did do it. Yeah, I did do it. I did accomplish what I was after.
Yeah. I mean, totally. Uh, what was I gonna, oh yeah, this, you say, you loved this painting.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah. Yeah, this one, the checkered one yeah, I had no intention of doing that one and wound up doing it anyway. But if you look at the one right next to it, to the left of it, that one, it looks like arm in arm, girls arm in arm, and looks like a knee up there
Oh
on
yeah.
the, yeah, looks
Mhm.
like, and that's why I called it Girls Just Want to Have Fun, because that's
Uh,
what it looks like to me. And I learned a lot about glazing. I glaze. That's why it takes me so long to do it. But glazing is like layering in colored pencil. So you put your color down, you put another color over, you put another color over, but I have to thin the paint way down. So a lot of oil painters don't want glaze because it takes so long, but I like it.
so are
And
you working on more than one piece at a time?
yeah, I can paint on something and it'll be dry the next day, and then I go back and work on it again. And I use a lot of indigo blue on that one for on the dark greens. I used indigo blue for my dark green.
So
Yeah.
how do you decide which medium you're going to use for a particular piece?
Okay, some things just scream at me that they have to be done in color pencil. The last cruise I was on, when we went to in 2015, the two girls, the one with the multicolored hair and the blue hair, both of those said, we have to be done in colored pencil. Both of them did.
Wow.
And I just love this piece. I just love it. She gives me a
Yeah.
feeling of peace. I don't know why, but she does.
And this one
And
too.
that girl, yeah. Now I had my camera with me, and they were setting up for the what's it called in Seattle? Oldest folk festival. The folk festival they were setting up for. And this girl was a long ways from me, but I had my camera lens for long photos, and I took a bunch of pictures of her.
Wow. She always looks to me like Kate Winslet.
Well, and another thing too, her hair was not quite that colorful. I did touch it up, make it more so.
Yeah, this was on the cover of many of our things. I mean,
Right.
you let us, Grace, yes, because that was that. I mean, these two are just killer. I
Her
remember
hair wasn't that blue either. She, a lot of her hair had grown out, so it wasn't that blue, but I wanted it that blue. So
yeah. Well, very, 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 very nice.
and she has that.
We are at the end of our hour.
Oh, okay, that
Uh,
was cool.
I know it flies by.
Just mention Kaylee down there.
Oh,
Kaylee.
yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, there she is.
First one with multiple brands of pencils.
Yes.
And
And I saw her in Walmart.
wow.
A double take, turned on my heel. I said, Linda, are you gonna let this pass you by, or are you gonna Okay, I'm going. So I
I
chased.
mean, it must take some nerve to, I don't,
Oh, it does. It does. Yeah. Most of the time I tell myself no, but I don't regret a minute of her.
so
Yeah.
how did you, so they said yes and you went to their home again or?
No, her mother wasn't there. Her grandmother, her grandmother, her aunt, and her brother and her sister were there. And it was the brother and the sister that were outside because they went out the door and I followed them out. And so I talked to the brother and I gave him my information and asked him, to tell his mother because she was out of town. Well, anyway, I did get in touch with the mother and we met at a park. And because she didn't know who I was,
Right.
And so we met at a park and I took photos of her, a bunch of photos. And this one was when we were just about done. And she just sat down and
Wow.
was relaxed.
Yeah. Yep. Well, like I said, it's so hard to get the natural, right? You just,
Right. Well, I told her right off, I didn't want the smiles and I didn't want posing. So after a while, she got real comfortable. How about over here? What about this?
how old is she?
She's about 8, I think.
Oh, just a little one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They called her Little Bluebird because they said when she was born, her eyes were blue. So
Oh,
that's what her family called her. Yeah.
a bluebird.
And I have given her mother every copy that's been printed of her,
Oh,
a copy of, the magazine.
right, right.
So
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, well, Linda, now that you have made us all feel like throwing away our pencils
hey,
forever.
I look at some people's color pencil work and I think, oh man, I may as well forget it.
No, Linda.
I have seen some color since COVID. These people, the work they're doing is astonishing in color pencil.
It is. It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you are right there amongst them. So yeah. Oh, wait, I'm gonna stop sharing. And if anybody will, I'll take a question if there's one. I'll take up to 2 questions if you want to throw something in the chat or Q&A. I'll watch both. Otherwise, we will say goodbye to Linda. And I've got her, I asked her, would you like to teach on another one of our workshop cruises? I just haven't asked Linda in a while because I figure, she's like
Well, if
too busy for that kind of thing. And then she said,
I'm not too busy.
so I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. Nope, nobody's got a question. I think we must have covered everything. So Linda, you take care. Oh, wait, never mind. There are some questions. Have you ever used a Clairefontaine pastel matte board?
No, don't even know what it is.
Clairefontaine matte pastel matte board. And then can you share that Padlet link on the chat? Oh, that's a good idea. I will do that. And then happy almost birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that yours, Linda? When is it?
My birthday is Sunday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, a little early. And which Ann Thomas asked, what CP artists do you admire?
What color pencil artist do I admire?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, there are so many.
Yeah, it's putting you on
I
the spot.
couldn't really pick one, I don't think.
I'm gonna put, oh shoot, I'm trying to put the why can't I chat? Oh, I can. Sorry, I'm putting the URL in the chat. There we go. You can't think of anybody? Well, I know you admire some.
Oh, I do.
More questions. Oh yeah, Lynn says it's like sanded paper. That Clairefontaine pastel matte is like,
Oh,
does she tell the
Wait.
photo?
when you find something you like, you kind of stick with it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Does she just tell photo models she will give them a print? Do they usually buy the art? You're not trying to sell the art when you're
Absolutely not. No. And I like to, if it's published, and I tell them I can't guarantee it'd be published, but and then I like to give them the magazine. So.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But I do get a written permission.
Oh, you do?
I have written permission from Kaylee's mother. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so I've shared the URL in the chat, and I think we're at the end of our, thank you so very much for this talk. Your paintings are just gorgeous, and you have the God-given talent most of us strive for. By the way, chat is off. I don't know what that means, but all right. Well, Linda, thank you. It
Can I
was,
say one more thing?
Oh, sure.
I don't want anybody to think it comes easy. It's difficult, and I stress sometimes over stuff. So I want you to understand it doesn't just, fall off me. It's a lot of work.
I'm glad
I
you
have to
said
pump
that.
myself up. I don't listen to negative talk. If I hear something in my head that's negative, it's go away. I don't listen to it. So
I'm really glad you said that, because it does, it does seem like you just sit down and go, oh, and then gorgeousness comes out,
Yeah, read the Padlet. I have challenges. Boy, do I ever. But I like complicated.
Yeah, you like difficult.
I do. I like difficult.
Well, thank you for sharing yourself and your art and all of that with us. And there's a lot in Q&A now. I think they're probably saying thank you.
Thank you, Anne.
Oh, yeah.
For inviting me to do this. It was fun.
All right.
And the dogs are quiet, so
the dogs are quiet.
It's time for me to go in the kitchen. Long way past time for me to go in the kitchen. They let me know about 2:30.
Yeah. Wow.
Kitchen,
They've been good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. And
yes, thank you, everybody.
See you online. Bye-bye.
Bye.